Hello and welcome. My name is Rick Walsh, and I'd like to welcome you to a brief discussion on a business principle known as momentum. With over 34 years of continuous experience in the direct sales, affiliate, and network marketing industries, I've become all too familiar with what happens to distributors and affiliates who associate themselves with a company and an opportunity that's poised to go into that phase of hypergrowth. I call it the millionaire maker. And if you are fortunate enough to recognize the early stages of momentum, your business can be affected in the most amazing manner. After a brief discussion of exactly what is momentum, I want to show you exactly why a company called B.A.N.K, or Global Bank Academy, is now poised to enter that most desired phase of business growth that you can personally capitalize on. You see, momentum is one of the most misunderstood concepts in our industry, and a company going into momentum is indeed a rare event. So let me shed a little light on what is the phenomenon of momentum, what causes a company to go into momentum, and what are the benefits for you. It's important that you understand this concept and are able to explain it to experienced individuals in the industry, even if you just use this video as the explanation itself. You see, momentum is the actualization of a Peter Drucker business principle that states that growth magnifies and intensifies effort. The best way to explain this principle is to use an example that we're all familiar with, the real estate industry. Now, consider for a moment an average real estate agent in an average city in the late 90s. Being an average market at that time, that agent was probably making an average income. Now let's move the clock forward a little to 2003 or 2004. Here the real estate market was really moving. Homes were sold in days and many times above the asking price. This same agent was making much more income than they were before, yet it was the same agent in the same city with the same contact base and the same work ethic. What changed? The market. The growth of the real estate industry magnified and intensified that agent's efforts. Same agent, triple the income or better. Well, that principle works in the affiliate marketing and network marketing industries as well. Yet as everything else in networking and affiliate marketing, we work geometrically, not arithmetically. When a company in our industry goes into momentum, or where growth magnifies and intensifies effort, then the incomes are not triple, but could be 10 to 20 times as much for the same effort. So, how prevalent are companies going into momentum? The answer, not nearly as prevalent as most would have you believe. Everyone says that they're the next company to go into momentum. Yet, in the 70-year-plus history of our industry, and of the thousands and thousands of companies that have come and gone, how many have actually gone into momentum? The answer? About a couple of dozen. It's probably easier to pick the winning lottery ticket than to pick a company going into momentum. So, how do you define momentum? And are there historical markers that we can use to see if a company has a good chance of going into momentum? Momentum is caused by the perception of an opportunity not to be missed. The operative word is perception. And it is this perception that creates an activity, massive recruiting. And that activity of massive recruiting creates the reality, that of a company going into momentum or hypergrowth. So, what is it that can create that perception? Is it a unique product that helps a company to go into momentum? Maybe yes. And then again, there are many companies with unique products that have not gone into momentum. Could it be the marketing plan, compensation structure, or the leadership? Maybe yes and maybe no. It all depends on what can create that perception. Let's take a look at some historical markers. Nu Skin, for example, was around a few years before they introduced their hair loss product, Nutra-Oil, that propelled them into momentum. Tahitian Noni was the startup product of Mirinda, and that launched them into momentum and started the juice craze. So in those cases, it was the product. for comp plans. The first binaries were very unique concepts in remuneration, having only to build 2 teams. And although the products were not that unique, the comp plan differentiation created momentum in one particular case. Leadership movement can also create that perception. I was with Rexall Showcase for nearly 2 years while they were not in momentum. And then 3 leaders from Nu Skin, Todd Smith, Randy Schrader, Stuart Hughes, moved from Nu Skin to Rexall, and Rexall entered its accelerated growth curve. So now the question arises, does Bank have one or more of these markers that will propel it into momentum? Starting with product, most companies have had a product that was purchased as a result of the opportunity. You know, you switched the brand of detergent or nutritional supplements. You buy because you became a distributor in XYZ company that had their own brand. Well, what if your product was not dependent upon your opportunity, but it stood on its own 2 feet, so to speak? What if it had real world value and applicability at the price suggested, whether or not there was a lucrative compensation structure in place? The Bank unique personality profiling system allows anyone in any field to increase their closing ratio or sales by 300%, regardless of the company they represent or the product or service they are promoting. And because the Bank system increases effective communication, its applications go far beyond the office or sales environment and right into the home. Effective communications between members of the family are enhanced through our systems and an array of trainings. Marriage counselors are very supportive and users of the Bank profiling systems. The universality and proven effectiveness of our product offerings makes this component of momentum a given. In compensation, the argument is always which type of plan is best. Stair-step breakaway like the stalwarts of the network marketing industry, Amway and Shackley, or the simpler to explain unilevel, possibly the 2-team binary or forced matrix. The answer to this question is really quite simple. It's the comp plan that pays the most that will create the largest checks and the most excitement, and therefore the perception of an opportunity not to be missed. Every one of these disciplines in compensation requires that the commission on a sale be broken up into smaller and smaller pieces. Several people, sometimes over a dozen, share in the compensation on an individual product sale. Not here at Bank. A full 50% commission is paid out on each product sale. The entire 50% is paid to one person, whether that's $15 or $5,000 per sale. Yet because of the unique structure of the affiliate program, that 50% can be paid to you from an infinite level of sales. To understand the real dynamics of the Bank compensation is to understand how more millionaires will be made here than any other company, and thus the perception of an opportunity not to be missed. Leadership movement will definitely create momentum, and some of the biggest moves have been in the direction of Bank. We're not dealing with only experienced sales leaders of our own industry, but with major universities such as Harvard and the University of California, Berkeley. They're expressing interest in the technology, the attention and speaking engagements of sales icons such as Tom Hopkins and the like. Well, leadership of the highest business caliber are being attracted to Bank and the Bank methodology. Management and leadership are key historical markers that can predict the possibility of going into momentum. Every company's management has said that they're going to be the next billion-dollar enterprise, but you know what? Such statements are built on desire for that outcome, not experience in creating such an outcome. Yet the opposite is true with Bank. The chairman, Jim Piccolo, has the billion-dollar success story as part of his history, not his expectations. As the leader of Nouveau Riche, Jim took a startup operation to the $1 billion in sales mark in our industry within a matter of a few years. This experience is a major historical marker that can give you the comfort that the company is directed by management that has done it before and can duplicate that success and do it again. You know, I started this discussion on the premise that finding a company that's going into momentum is like choosing the right lottery ticket. Yet, when you look at all of the historical markers and how one of these markers can create that perception of an opportunity not to be missed, the question then becomes, what is bound to happen when several of those markers are in place in the same company at the same time? Unique, one-of-a-kind program with the highest paid compensation plan, bar none, coupled with massive leadership movement and a product validation being studied at the most prestigious learning institutions in the world, and the management team that knows the ins and outs of creating $1 billion in sales, well, then you not only have the perception, but also the reality of an opportunity not to be missed. Congratulations, you've just hit the lottery. And you can take that to the bank. For more information, get back with the individual that referred you to this video.